Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the amazing, the wonderful, the talented. What gimmick do I want to give you today? The no gimmicks necessary, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
That's perfect. Since tonight we're going to get more on the no gimmicks Dolph Ziggler, I'm sure, on Smackdown. That's appropriate.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't even totally aware of it. You kind of pointed out to me on last week's SmackDown recap. They're kind of booking this like a super show, this SmackDown episode.
They really are. They're calling it Sin City SmackDown or whatever, and 3 championship matches and a Vince McMahon appearance. It's pretty big stuff.
There was at least 3 commercials for it, promos during Raw regarding it, and there was one last week too. So yeah, they're making this one special for whatever reason.
Cole even made a point to mention it during the Braun Strowman John Cena match. He said, "We don't make a habit of talking about SmackDown," and then he went in and he promoted it. I mean, they know it's a big deal.
Yeah, so that's kind of exciting, I suppose. So looking forward to SmackDown tonight, and kind of coming off the heels of what I would call a decent Raw last night.
Boy, if you could just take a couple, you know what, we always joke, if you take a lot out of some of the pay-per-views, they're A pay-per-views. But this Raw, you wouldn't have to take out much to get it to a B+ or an A. It had some really good stuff. It's just some really curious booking, and the rundown sheet, like the order of the matches, confused me.
I just feel, well, that was one of my notes, actually. That's strange that you mentioned that because, yeah, one of my notes was about the match order. So there was that. And then the second thing I want to say was it's really, I just look at it as that extra hour has got to go. I know we say it every week, but if you would have made the show 2 hours as opposed to 3, you would have had a killer show, I think. Why
are we not ending on Braun Strowman standing over John Cena, who's been slammed onto his steps, or Braun Strowman with his foot on Brock Lesnar's chest? Why are we ending with Gallows and Anderson teaming with Cesaro and Sheamus against 2 tag teams I don't care about anymore?
Especially because it was so meaningless. I wrote down several things that made more sense. I was like, I'm surprised that this tag team main event went over Cena and Strowman, which seemed like the natural main event for the show last night.
Absolutely.
I mean, even Reigns and Jordan would have made more sense than that tag match, and Miz versus Enzo would have made more sense than what they went with last. And I know that they're trying to expose different people at different parts of the show, and I get that. But man, I think you had many better opportunities to expose the tag team division at the end over the past few months, or you could say that you had several better ways to end the show with a big moment instead of ending with a fart.
Do you think it's because the WWE sees that they have bigger numbers and earlier, that they're putting their big stuff out earlier? They're not making people wait till 11 o'clock to get the Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman confrontation because they don't think people are going to stick around for it anyways. Do you think that could be it?
I'm going to go with a no, but I don't know. You know, I guess for me, the thought is, you know, the Hardy Boys don't get to end the show very much, but or maybe they were booking for football, which would have been on the early parts of the show. I don't know, man. You know, I don't know what they're thinking.
Football was on for the whole show.
Oh, was it?
Because the second game didn't start until 10 o'clock Eastern.
Wow. That's late.
Well, it is, but that's what they do on the opening night. They have the West Coast game start late, and then the East Coast game start early.
So, yeah. But the show did have a lot of high points, I thought. It sounds like you agree with it too, because you were almost willing to give it a B or an A.
Well, I love how what a creative way to get Jason Jordan a rub and get him worked into a storyline he doesn't really have any business being in for the last 2 weeks in a row. And then have him give 2 great matches 2 weeks in a row to start Raw. I thought the first 40 minutes of Raw, even if it did involve Roman Reigns, was great.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And I kind of caught on once the match ended because I was watching it live last night, which I don't usually do. Usually I'll just let it build up to the commercial so I don't have to watch them, which made the show feel even longer to me last night because because I wasn't DVRing it. So I noticed it was 8:23, or I'm sorry, 7:23 here on Central Time when the match was over. And I was like, I hope that they address this, because last week Roman Reigns gave John Cena crap for going 20 minutes with a rookie.
Well, they addressed it before. Like, cause that's what got me invested in the match. They showed the little package, and he says it in the intro package. He says that to John Cena about took you 20 minutes to deal with a rookie. They made sure to emphasize that right at the beginning, but if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah, so I was happy that I caught that it went over 20 minutes with Roman and Jordan, so that Cena could bring that up. It's always funny, because I follow the Botchamania group or wrestling Facebook groups. They always highlight how stupid it looks when wrestlers are watching a monitor in the back, and it really is hokey looking.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny, but I get why they're doing it.
Well, because nobody watches television from that angle. No one's standing where John Cena's standing by himself watching that television. He would be sitting in front of it.
Yeah, there's so many things that are goofy about it. When, like, what is he just by himself in the back and there's only one TV? Like, it's just goofy. Like, the whole thing. I know it's as old as wrestling on TV itself, but it's just goofy.
Right.
So there was that.
I thought the opening match was great, and then when John Cena came out, I thought that was a surprise, because I thought he was just going to cut a little promo backstage. Confronts Roman Reigns, and here we go, shooting again. We're off and running.
Another little philosophical thing that struck me as odd is, so the match is over as they're heading into a commercial break. What is the thought process of making Roman's wait in the ring while Cena comes out to make fun? Like, why would he just be waiting for Cena to come out and make fun of him? It doesn't make any booking sense to me.
That's just TV now. It's just you're waiting for a TV timeout. It's like going to a football game, going to the Penn State football game against Pitt this weekend for no reason whatsoever. Both teams get up and walk off the field for 3 minutes because it's a TV timeout. So that's kind of, it's the world we're in.
Well, I also noticed something else annoyed me from the commentary standpoint yesterday as well during that match. So I guess I kind of considered it an insider term, but Booker T did it twice, and I think Corey Graves did it once, and this is all in one match. They used the term rocket attached to somebody's back, and if you think about it, like, the rocket means that someone's getting a push, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming you probably noticed that during commentary too. But like, if we're supposed to be describing this stuff as not fake and legitimate, you can't put a rocket on somebody's back, you know?
They've been doing that with this particular feud since the beginning. They've used words like corporately created, protected. They've tipped their hats a lot in this particular feud to Roman being booked a certain way, Roman being protected in the back, Roman getting a rocket tied to his back.
I'm talking about Jason Jordan. Booker T said put the rocket on Jason Jordan's back, and that to me doesn't make any sense.
Oh, see, I missed that. I must have missed that.
We can say it as fans that are talking about it. We can say put the rocket on Jordan's back, but Booker T saying it to me doesn't make any sense.
Right. And I don't like Booker T as an announcer anyway.
No, me neither, man.
But I haven't complained because I know who he replaced, and I'm okay with it.
Are we talking about Otunga?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'll probably take Booker to Otunga, to be honest with you.
I will, and I'll say this. You may disagree with me. I think Corey Graves has improved exponentially. He has a ways to go, but I like his vocabulary use. I like how natural he is. I like his look. I think Corey Graves he's less generic than Michael Cole. I like Corey Graves. I like him. I think he's okay. But him being on Raw and SmackDown, though, might get a little too much. It might become a little too much.
Well, Jerry, I meant to talk to you about that last week because he's the guy who's replacing JBL on commentary on SmackDown.
Is that in the interim, or is that permanent?
that's permanent, is my understanding. And he's being taken off of 205 Live. And I'm going to go as far as to say I agree with you. He's still not my favorite. I still don't think the JRs of the world and the Michael Coles of the world are in the same league as Corey Graves. I think Corey's got a lot of work to do. But I will say I was very critical of Corey in the beginning. And I do agree he's improved exponentially, which was your term. And I will also say, if we're talking about the guy who's got the rocket on his back, it's Corey. Corey's the guy they're grooming to be the next JR and Michael Cole, I feel like.
They definitely want him to be. I mean, they've worked him into angles, and he's got something special. He just has to stop sucking sometimes. And now that he's not spending the entire show insulting Byron Saxton, he's gotten a little more focused. So
yeah, the more real he is, as opposed to doing a gimmick, I think the better suited he is.
So if we're going in order of the show, I had a note that it's like they blew up a balloon in the first 45 minutes, and then they let the air out of it with the women, and then they blew it back up again as soon as the women were done because they brought out Brock Lesnar.
This is the problem with 3 hours because, yeah, you're popping the balloon. Exactly. I did want to mention before we get to this stuff real quickly that while, again, I enjoyed the segment with Cena and Reigns, I still think whether they realize it or not, and I know they're not going to change course. I know no matter how much fans voice their disapproval of Reigns, I know it's not going to change anything. But I still think that every time Reigns has a microphone in his hands, he's showing his ass. He is not even close to the charisma, the speaking ability of any of the real superstars in wrestling. And by those, I mean the Cenas, the Hogans, the Austins, the Rocks, the Triple H's. He's not even close.
So what do you think they're trying to accomplish by having John Cena come out and bury him with that and bring that up? I mean, or do they think that acknowledging it will make it better with the fans?
This is not.
I mean, like, I think on the mic is the one area that it's kind of an intangible. It's kind of an it thing. I just don't think that you can ever be like, you know what? I can't talk. I suck on the microphone. You can't go from Andre the Giant on the mic to Jake the Snake Roberts just by practicing. I think it's more than that. There's an inherent ability when it comes to that communication skill. So they're not going to teach him it. I don't understand why they keep exposing us to it. That's the one thing. I'm like, boy, Cena's burying him in a place where he can't uncover himself.
Well,
he can't fix himself there.
And I feel like you can make someone a monster heel who can't talk, but you can't make someone the face of the company, the flag bearer, the guy you pass the torch to, the money guy who can't talk.
I can't tell you enough how irritating it is to me that Cena is like not just running circles around him, but showing more emotion. And Reigns is just like, all aloof and he's trying to act all cool. The first week they did this, Reigns got legitimately pissed and he showed honest to God anger. And that was like the first time I liked one of his promos in a long while.
Yeah, exactly. And, what's funny, Jer, is I think you can more easily get away with not being able to wrestle and being in that number one spot than you can with not being able to talk in that spot.
Absolutely. And Reigns suffers there because Reigns is
is he's not bad in the ring.
Although, what do you think about, Chris Benoit couldn't talk for crap. I don't care what anybody said. He was never very good on the mic.
Chris Benoit was never even close to being the face of the company, even during his title run.
Okay. But he was up near the tip top. He was by the tippy top.
Sure. But at that time you had so many people above. You had Michaels there. You had Triple H. You had Guerrero. You had Brock. Like, there was a lot going on. Yeah, there was a lot of people there making up for it. Even Cena was higher on the card than than Benoit was.
But I get what you're saying about Reigns, and you notice Reigns is now he's going to do it again next week. I promise you. The first week it worked. It was the biggest pop he got. So the second week he did it. And last night he did it again. And it's the only time the crowd pops for what he says. Do you know what it is?
Trying to think. Don't know.
It's the only thing that he says that like the crowd's like, "What?" and gets the crowd into it at all. It's when he calls John Cena a bitch. That's it.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
That's it. Oh, he cursed. We got to freak out.
And that's cheap. That's cheap heat.
That's cheap heat, and he's done it 3 weeks in a row. He'll do it again next week, I promise.
You know what? Yeah, I won't take that bet because I think you're right.
Next week's Raw, I'm calling it Bitch Watch 2017. Ba, 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 ba. I'm on the lookout.
You know what, Jerry? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that was
tater tots didn't work. The B word will.
Boy, that was fun. That tater tots thing was fun.
You son of a tater tot.
All right, so yeah, let's move forward. You're right. So let's jump ahead a little bit to let's see. I took notes again. That awkward moment when Nia Jax doesn't have her ring gear on.
The awkward moment when Nia Jax is given a microphone and asked to talk the whole way through a match.
Not only is she given a microphone, they attached one to her friggin' head. Whose idea was this? And then, I mean, we have never seen her, to my knowledge, in street clothes. It's just not what she's supposed to be.
I love how they brought her out to accompany the announcers. As last week they gave her a 20-second segment where she had a microphone in front of her, and you said, "Don't let Nia Jax talk." And they were like, "Hold my beer. Watch this." Let her talk. We're going to give her an announcer chair.
We need her in wardrobe stat.
Oh, my God.
I mean, like, I don't want to see what Nia Jax wears when she's grocery shopping. You know what I mean?
She just got back from Publix.
Actually, I just got back from Planet Fitness.
Ooh, no lugheads allowed. No lug.
This is a judgment-free zone.
She's going to start shopping at Kmart now because they changed their plus sizes to fabulous size.
It's the I'm not like most girls size.
I'm fabulous. Move over, Carmella. Kmart says I'm fabulous.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Brock and Braun got into a confrontation, if you recall, last night.
How surprising. How surprising is this?
I mean, like, listen, I know wrestling is a work and everything, but I figure German suplexes have got to take something out of you. I am impressed at the speed he was. I don't know if I can get out of bed that quickly.
He popped up so fast, and the look on Brock's face. What a brilliant thing that the WWE is doing, and kudos to Brock for letting them do it. They're letting the Beast, who has looked dominant forever, they're for the first time ever. He's fighting from underneath. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
I mean, I guess you could argue that he was with Goldberg too, come WrestleMania, when WrestleMania happens.
This feels more, I don't know, I almost forget
but this is more sincere because you're right. This is Braun Strowman, not Goldberg.
Yeah.
And, but dude, and you know what though, to go along with what you're saying, giving Brock kudos, he seems to be happy to do what he's told. And that makes me happy because that's a good example to set. Like even Austin couldn't follow that. Hulk Hogan couldn't follow that. Bret Hart didn't want to follow that. Like, you know, a lot of backstage leaders aren't big enough to do this, but Brock seems to do what he's told. He's getting paid a lot to do it, but he seems to be doing what he's told, and I appreciate that.
No honky-tonk man for Brock.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, you're right, Jerry. He does deserve some kudos for that, even though it's his job, and I think that should be the standard. It doesn't always work that way, so kudos to Brock.
Right. I think it's awesome, and I thought that segment was just it was just awesome. Just, are you ready, fighter? Are you ready? And then Braun comes out and beats him, and then the image of him with his foot on Brock's chest was surreal, I thought.
Yeah, and this, by the way, it's like I see this stuff, and I'll just say I am really happy we don't have to make predictions on this Thursday, because I don't know either of these matches. Cena and Reigns, Brock and Braun, I do not know who I want to predict yet. I just have no idea.
I don't even know who's going to win the Finn Balor-Bray Wyatt match, and that's heating up. And I like what they did with that last night.
I don't know who's going to win between Enzo and Neville. Like, I'm just totally, I'm all over the place. And this is a good feeling to have. I like this feeling, and our predictions episode next week should hopefully be a good one.
This has the potential to be a very good pay-per-view, because the build-up to an A+ pay-per-view is there. I'm not saying that it's all A+ worthy. I'm just saying this is, so far, I would give, as far as the pay-per-view is concerned, I would give it A+ build-up credit.
I'll say modern day A build-up.
Please, I'll accept it. I'll take it. I take it. I take it. Mine now. Accepted.
That's fine. You can have it. They ran a promo for Asuka finally. We can stop speculating.
Yeah, she's coming.
Finally. Is it not about damn time?
She's going to come, and she'll be in a 5-way match for the rest of her life.
Well, you know what, Jer? I don't know how much you know about Asuka. She's a fantastic worker, and she can only make things better.
I'm in. I'm okay.
So there's that. What else do we have? Cena and Strowman. This did feel like a weird spot on the card for it.
How do you look at this and go, yeah, this is going to be good, but it's not Mini Shield and Hardys versus Gallows and Anderson and Cesaro and Sheamus.
I mean, I get that not every week do you need to end with, you know, the blockbuster stars. Like, I get that, but this just felt wrong.
It's not even a blockbuster star. End with a blockbuster moment. There was no moment at the end of Raw. Just Mini Shield holding up the belts and Hardy standing there.
I wouldn't have caught this if I wasn't in that Facebook group or like that Facebook group. Did you catch Matt Hardy screwing up the finish?
No.
So this is great. And if you have it on your DVR still, or maybe I can find it online and send it to you. There's a great moment in the main event, which you know, we're kind of going out of order for, but there's a great moment when Jeff is being pinned. I can't remember who's pinning him. They're all bald-headed or whatever. But yeah. Jeff Hardy's being pinned, and Matt's going to break it up. Matt was on the ropes. Jeff's being pinned, and Matt gets tripped up in the ropes and isn't even close to Jeff to break up the pinfall, but Jeff's not aware of it. So Jeff just stays down, and the referee just stops his count out of nowhere just because Matt got tied up. And Corey Graves even covers it like, I think the ref got a glimpse of Matt Hardy out of the corner of his eye, but it made no sense. It was great. It was a true wrestling botch. I'm Googling it now. I'd love to see it. Maybe I can find it on Facebook or something, tag you in it so you can see. I'll find it. Yeah. So there was that. Let me go to, I guess the only thing really left to talk about was what I thought was an amazing segment from top to bottom with the Miz and Enzo. Loved it. Loved that. Yeah, it was great. First of all, genuinely surprised, did not know Maryse was with child. I don't think anyone knew that. That's not a work, is it? That's a shoot. I assume that's going to be hard to fake. Unless they have a Gene Snitsky situation. Yeah, boy, I hope that we're past that. I hope that we can get more credit as fans than that, but now you got me scared, Jer. Okay, whenever anybody says we're getting married, I'm like, it's a work. She's with child. It'll work. I can see next week. Bada boom, realest guy in the room. Maryse just had her baby. It's punted into the crowd. Boom! He was like, "You're going to be asking who's your daddy?" I was like, "Holy smokes, Enzo! Are they trying to make him a heel?" Man, I don't think so at all. No, I didn't get that vibe even a little bit. Why do you get that vibe?
Well, no, they put him on 205 Live and they have him cheating a little more, and then they have him saying stuff like that. I don't know.
So
just heelish things, but he's still a face.
It's worth noting that this 205 Live thing, and while he's clearly a 205 Live guy, he's been on Raw every week, and last week's segment was good. It was long, and it had zero to do with 205 Live.
Same with last night, and then they tie. He's been on Raw. He's been on Raw more than 205 Live's champion Neville.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I wonder if they've got him as like a floater between both 205 Live and Raw, but he has, in my opinion, while everyone's got this thing doomed, and it does seem doomed on the surface, if you can protect him like this, it might be best for everybody.
He keeps getting smoked, though. He got smoked again last night.
That's okay, though, because that's believable. That's always been his character, is to be smoked like that. And it's just that I don't know. That's not going to kill him as much as not being exposed.
Right. They're putting him on TV. They know what the fans want. They see the T-shirts and the signs in the crowd. They want Enzo.
The crowd will care about Enzo whether he wins or loses. That's a good spot to be in. And I do love, well, I guess I could say I love it. I'll just say I will acknowledge that they are certainly acknowledging his heat in the back.
Yeah, that was a little shooty. I thought it was good.
It's been a few weeks now that they've been shooty, starting as far back as the Evansville show when Cass turned on Enzo. They've been acknowledging on a somewhat regular basis that Beyond the Ring show, the Bring It to the Table. Is the name of that show. They acknowledge,
but he hasn't done much to refute anything or to fight. He hasn't really shot back on anybody. He did a little bit with the Miz.
I just feel like okay, if I was seeing on message boards or if maybe someone in my office sat down and talked to me like, hey, Rob, you've got an odor thing going on. You kind of stink a little bit. I would take that and I would make changes. Like I would, make sure I made changes in my day-to-day life to make me not smell bad.
Start scrubbing your stuff.
Yeah, and this is obviously never happened. I don't believe I'm having an issue like that, but let's just say that happened. I wonder why isn't Enzo, or maybe he is he's obviously aware that this is a problem, that nobody in the back likes him. Miz took that criticism and made changes.
Well, I mean, no one's saying that he hasn't. I mean, maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's made changes, and that's why they're okay giving him the spot on Raw, and they're acknowledging it because the smart fans have the information now. But maybe he's started making changes in the back, but they don't need to tell us that. They don't need to tell us that Roman Reigns and he worked it out or whatever.
According to a report I read just yesterday, he's now bringing that bad attitude with him to 205 Live. He's trying to give a lot of the 205 Live athletes the tips and pointers about how they should do things when they feel like he's in no position to do that. Yeah,
we've all been there, right? Oh. Somebody comes in and they've done radio for a cup of coffee and they start giving you tips and air checking you, and you're like, please just go away.
Or it's not even a length of time thing. It's a what have you accomplished as compared to me thing sometimes.
Or I've heard your show. Go away.
Yeah. You know what, Jared? You're taking the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So there's some Enzos that I know in my personal life too that know more about what I do than me.
Stupid Enzos.
So there's that. Oh, and if you want, maybe we can wrap up with this, or I can save it for tomorrow. But I'm assuming you're going to want to know it now if I tease you with it.
Go ahead. And then I'll tell you that bad main event wasn't the worst part of my evening. There's a tease.
Okay. Are you there? Jer? Lost you. Hey, call me back. We can fix it. Oop, hold on, Jer. I can't hear. Hold on. I can pull you up. Jer, hold on. Jer. Hold on. Oh, I can bring him up on the computer. Okay, Jer, can you hear me? Hold on. We can fix this.
Gotta
go. Oh.
Gotta go.
Okay, no problem.
Gotta go.
I'll bring it home. All right, so Jared's got a problem. Obviously, the power went out at his building. So, this makes more sense for SmackDown anyway, too. Jer will be excited to know that I've got a few more details. Oh, I can still hear him. Interesting. Okay, well, here, I'll just wrap it up with this, and sorry for the frantic ending, but this makes more sense for SmackDown's recap anyway. I got a few more details about the...
Yeah, it's up and running now. Everything's just rebooting.
Jer. I'll turn his mic off. It's not a fight with his wife. It's his business stuff. I got a few more details on what Baron Corbin did to get so much heat in the locker room, especially with management. So I'll leave that as your teaser. He and I will talk about that more tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Raw Review, Post to Post. For myself, the Rob, and the dark match. Wait, he's there. Hold on. Are you back? Hold on. One sec. Jay, are you there? Oh, wait. Am
I still on it?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Kind of.
Jer?
I'm going to call back.
Yeah, go ahead.
The power went off.
We never lost. I never made you exit the room. So hold on a second. Let's get Valeria back up. Just give me 1 second, everybody.
Busy.
No, it's not. Come on. It should be working. It's got to be your phone then. Hey, take your headphones off. Oh, turn on. Jer, are you there?
Okay, so the power went off. We have a generator, but everything had to
reboot. And I'm in an on-air studio, so it turned into a disaster for a second.
Yeah, well, if that ever happens, you can take your headphones off, and I'll power your mic up through this board.
Okay, but I had to tend to I had to get the station back on the air.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay.
So here's what I did, and we'll wrap it up with this. Instead of getting into this now, it makes more sense to talk about tomorrow because it is a SmackDown story.
Sure.
But I got details on where the origin of Baron Corbin's heat is coming from.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
And I'll fill you in tomorrow. I know the story as to what the deal is here.
All right, and then if there's time, I'll tell you why that main event last night was not the worst part of my evening.
You know what? We got 8 minutes. You want to give me your story real quick?
So I don't know what you do what do you do when Raw goes off the air? What do you do when you're done?
It's time for bed.
Yeah, it's time for bed, but I also have a couple minutes. I'm usually downstairs by myself.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all with you.
I have a little time to myself. I like to call it boys to men time. And so so I do that and I'm all done. And then I get up and I get everything together and then I go upstairs. Guess who's still awake?
Gonna go with your wife?
My wife. This never happened.
I know what you're gonna say.
Guess who wants to fool around?
Gonna go with your wife.
Yeah, not me. I'm all good. I'm all done.
So what did you do?
Well, I had a decision to make. What do I do here? I can't tell her. I can't tell. Well, I would love to, but after wrestling, I like to play with myself. So I just watched an 8-man tag, and then I violated myself like a parking meter. No,
there was just an 8-man tag on Raw.
I like bald guys, so I don't do it while watching wrestling, mind you. So I go. So I muscled through it. I had to channel my inner 18-year-old. I was like, God darn it, Jerry, you gotta make it happen.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. You don't get this opportunity often, so just make it happen. Act like you're 18 again.
Holy cow!
Up and away, but I was like, whew. It took a lot of this, a lot of thinking. I had to think a lot.
See, I kind of understand what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. It was difficult. It was difficult. It was not hard. It was difficult. I know. Anyways, what I'm telling you is
the Valeri feud. It's the best angle of 2017.
It got complicated.
Did Did you make it happen? Everything went all right?
I made it happen. Everything went all right. And I think that she knows what I did. And I think that's why she did it. And I think it backfired. And that's why I did it. I was like, I'm going to do it because I don't think she means what. I don't think she really wants to.
Joke's on you, sucker.
Joke's on you. Watch this. Watch this. I can make it work for a minute.
To quote Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We'll catch you guys tomorrow with a SmackDown recap episode of Post to Post.
It was either that or I was going to be quoting Vince McMahon. No chance in hell!